Hello, I'm Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary of Rules Editor for the NCAA. And today we're continuing our series of training videos for 2024, and we're going to be focused on game action from Week 9. Now, before we get into our video, I want to hit two things. Number one is communications. It's so important that as officials, we're great communicators. We've always got to use our winning words, and especially when we're talking to coaches and players. And as we're dealing with coaches, let's make sure we give them good information and work to diffuse tough situations. And be good communicators within the crew and especially with replay. O2O is so important. It makes you a complete crew when we use O2O well. So communications, hit that in your pregame conference this week. Second, I wanted to report out on some of our stats from overtime. In FBS, we've had 22 overtime games this year, so that's about 4% of our games go into extra periods. 15 of those 22 games were decided in one overtime, the balance all in two. And if we look at all divisions in the NCAA, we've had 86 overtime games, and 71% of those have been decided in one overtime. And only 3.4% of those overtime games have gone beyond two overtimes. We've had 2 4-overtime games and 1 5-overtime games. But our overtime procedures, they're exciting. We get a winner. We've limited the number of plays, which is good for the players, but we have to do our best work in overtime. So with that, let's get on into our plays. Our first play this week, we have 6 seconds left in the half, and we're going to get a kickoff, and it's returned back out to about the 33-yard line, and the clock appears to expire. Now, both teams head to the tunnel and are satisfied with the end of the half. Replay looks, and with the actual clock superimposed, we see that the return man was down with 1 second remaining. So we're going to tell the crew to stop the game, and we're going to add the 1 second back, and we go and get the teams back from the tunnel. We got to get everybody back in place, and then the offense is going to come out and they take a knee. Now, we're not wrong here. There was 1 second remaining, but two things for thought. Number one, in our replay mechanics, the 5th bullet under timing states that to restore time on the clock in the second quarter, field position must be considered before stopping the game for a possible correction. The 40-yard line of the team putting the ball in play should be used as our guideline. And if we do use that as our guideline, if they're short of that and both teams exit the field, neither are questioning or challenging the ruling, and they're short of the 40, then let's don't stop the game. Let's keep it moving. This ultimately boils down to your judgment and replay, but we have good guidelines to help you with this. If this was end of game and the differential was 8 points or less, then absolutely we would stop and add the 1 second. And finally, referee, do not announce the half is over until you check with replay. Remember our new rule, once we declare the first half ended, there shall be no additional replay reviews. Play 2 is going to be a great illustration of field presence and preventive officiating. Now, we're in the fourth quarter in a tight ball game. The runner breaks free, and he's going to score a touchdown. And immediately we see the runner turn to the defender, and the defender reacts and gets to the runner's face. Now, the side judge, who's in perfect position to make the call at the goal line, immediately reacts to separate players, and the headline judge comes in as well, and we totally diffuse the situation almost immediately before anything can start. This is well done to recognize a potential situation and be a presence to maintain order in our game. Good job. Play 3, we've got a 3rd and 2 situation with the line to gain at the -14. So we know that the spot could be critical here. And spots are always important, and it takes discipline and concentration on every play to be successful in spotting the ball. But on this play, we see that the quarterback, he hands off to the back who goes up the middle and lands on the ground with the ball just across the 14. But we're going to spot the ball short of the 14-yard line. And there was some comment from TV that they didn't necessarily like the spot. But as we go back and take a look, we see that the runner's left elbow goes down with the ball short of the 14. So this is an excellent spot. Well done. Now let's work to nail every spot. Let's use our crossfield mechanics when needed and replay. Let's stay alert on spots and recalling our competitive effect guidance that we have on spots, basically saying that whether a player made the line to gain is significant on 3rd and 4th down, but 1st or 2nd down may be significant in late game situations when the clock is a factor.
So let's work hard to get excellent spots all day. It's so important to our coaches, and it's important to your coordinator. Play 4, there are 3 seconds remaining. The score is tied, and the offense lines up to attempt a game-winning field goal. Now, the kick is going to be blocked, the defense falls on the ball, and the game is going to head to extra periods. And as we go back and take a look at the play, we see number 6, he blocked the kick after leaping over offensive linemen. And we know that can be a foul, and by rule, it's a foul for leaping if a player in an attempt to block the kick moves forward and leaps into the plane directly above the frame of the body of an opponent. But we know there's an exception to that rule, and it's not a foul for leaping if the player was aligned in a stationary position within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage at the snap. The leap here by number 6 is legal. It's very impressive, an athletic play. Play 5, we're going to review a play near the goal line. As we can see the spot of the ball, we're very close, less than a foot away from the goal line. Now, the center's going to take his position, and he's actually going to push the ball forward across the goal line. And we observe a couple of things on this. The defensive linemen on the far side of the ball, well, they're now lined up in the neutral zone. But maybe even worse, the defenders on the near side of the ball, they've moved back behind the ball, and they're now lined up in their own end zone. So let's review our new officiating standard introduced this year, new to the line of scrimmage list, and it states that the snapper shall not be permitted to move the ball more than a half yard forward when taking his stance, nor allow the ball to be moved over the line to gain or goal line. The play should be shut down, the ball reset, and the player and his coach warned. A foul for false start shall be considered after the warning. So let's be alert to these type situations. Every inch is important at the goal line, and we have a solid standard now to help us impact this play. Play 6, the offense has 4th and 19 just past the 50, and they're going to elect a punt. Now, the punt is high. The return man, he fakes as if he's going to catch the ball back at the 10, and 0 for the kicking team. He's going to catch the ball over the shoulder in flight at the 1. His momentum carries him into the end zone. He tries to flip the ball back into the field of play, but the ball hits and rolls back into the end zone. Now, we know by rule the kicking team can legally catch the punt as long as there's no receiver in position to make the catch, and that's what happened here. And when the kicking team possesses the kick and they have firm control of the ball, then the ball is immediately declared dead at that point. So the ball is declared dead here at the 1 based on number 0 having full possession and firm control of the ball. So whatever happened to the ball subsequent to the possession is action with a dead ball and really doesn't matter. So the result of the play is the receiving team will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 1 yard line. Good job on the field here. Play 7, the quarterback hands off to the runner. He turns up and runs into the end zone, but we get a flag down from our back judge. And as we go back and take a look at the play, we see that the receiver from the top side of the formation, he comes back toward the ball, and then he's going to forcefully block the defensive safety. He approaches the safety from the blind side and blocks him with a big hit. And this is a correct call by the back judge for an illegal blindside block. Now, as we all know, that a player receiving a blindside block is considered defenseless. So replay, they're going to stop the game to look for a potential targeting foul here. And as we take a look at the hit, the blocker attacks, and we have a defenseless player, and there's forcible contact to the head of that defenseless player. So replay properly adds targeting to the illegal blindside block. And this is the type block we really don't want in the game. If the player approaches from the blind side, they can legally deliver the block with extended hands, they can screen or absorb, but they cannot attack with force. Our last play this week, the quarterback throws a quick out to the receiver who catches the ball, makes a move, and then he's off down the sideline. Now, as he gets to about the 20, he flashes a sign and taunts the pursuing defender, and then he strides on into the end zone. Now, we know that taunting an opponent is always an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, and if it occurs during live ball action, then it's penalized as a live ball foul. And we do a good job here of getting the marker down, and this results in no touchdown and the 15-yard penalty being enforced from the spot of the taunting foul. These type taunting actions can lead to bad issues in our game. So let's get the marker out, and as a deterrent, our rule puts a counter on the player. Well, that's it for our plays this week, and let's use this video to spark discussions within our crews and help us all improve. That's so important that we get better every week. Now, let's remember, quality fouls, make it be there, nothing technical. Let's have good, crisp ball movement, no committee meetings, and no walking on the field, always hustling. Excellent communications with coaches, players, and other officials. That is so important we use our winning words. Concentration, we got to be ready every play and display your integrity, courage, and poise throughout the contest. Let's be mentally and physically ready to work the game and keep hustling. Best of luck to all.